Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Welcome, friends, to this Wednesday evening Dhamma discussion and meditation practice. So last week we were discussing the Chula Sunyata Sutta, or the Lesser Discourse on Emptiness. And as I mentioned then, the word emptiness you don't hear too much in the Theravada tradition. In the word sunyata, you hear about nibbana a lot and some other words, but the word emptiness itself, sunyata, is not used too much as it might be used in the Mahayana tradition. But so this sutta, the Buddha actually, in a Pali sutta, there were two suttas. Now, the sutta tonight that we're choosing is the sutta number 1 in the Majjhima Nikaya. So it's the very first sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. And it has some connection to this, the Sunyata. Now, the Sunyata Sutra is about how by developing mindfulness and concentration, you overcome the habit of perception and and paying attention to the various sensory stimulations that are coming through our senses. And as you gain the jhanas, the first, second, third, and even fourth jhana, then you reach this level of pure equanimity and mindfulness, in which the activity of perception and conceiving is pretty much diminished. And there's just this awareness grounded in this body, in the 6 senses. That means the nervous system is still intact. And so you're feeling these subtler nervous system vibrations and like sounds and body sensations, they're just felt as kind of vibrations. And the mind is not creating objects or thinking about them. And so this state of, he calls this a descent into emptiness, meaning the mind is empty of everything except those vibrations. So that is a state of which we might also call like pure awareness. Now, this sutta this evening is, I hope you're able to have a chance to read through it. And I like the way the Buddha introduces a lot of these suttas. And so he's talking to the monks. And he tells the monks, I'll teach you the root of all phenomena. And so they're eager to hear what he has to say about that. And he says, there is this case where an uninstructed, run-of-the-mill person, I like these designations he uses there, uninstructed, run-of-the-mill person. Now that refers to a person who is not interested much in religion, especially the Dhamma, knows nothing about the Dhamma, has not heard about really a meditation, and has no real concern with kind of purifying their mind and developing the mind in that way. These people have no regard for the noble ones. They're not well disciplined in the Dhamma. So whenever they experience something, they perceive the earth as earth. Perceiving earth as earth, they conceive in earth. And they conceive things in earth, or things coming out of earth, and they think the earth is mine, and they delight in earth. And why is that? Because they have not comprehended it. So now he chooses the term earth, but actually it could mean any of the four elements and any object. So earth is just, let's say, X. They perceive X as X, they conceive in it. That means they start thinking about it. And they start thinking about it in terms of what it did to them, this particular object, how they experienced it in the past, either with liking or disliking, and how they project that into the future. I want that object, and they start conceiving, proliferating thought. So the whole world of proliferating thought, called papancha, is triggered off in their mind because they have not trained their mind. So he goes on to give the whole. After he says the earth, they perceive water as water, air as air, fire as fire, human beings as human beings, animals, dogs, cats, anything that you can think about, any object. It means initially it's just a vibration coming through our consciousness, but the uninstructed, untrained person doesn't see it like that. They only see objects and immediately start thinking about the objects, and then allowing greed, lust, desire, aversion, confusion, and the whole gamut of conditioned thoughts to overpower their mind, get carried away, and they start plotting and planning how are they going to get an object or get away from an object. And they're totally engrossed in themselves as being the experiencer. So that's what is called the uninstructed ordinary person. That's the way their mind works, because they have not heard the Dhamma. So, and therefore their mind is stuck in, creating karma, and then based on greed, hatred, and delusion. And it's a vicious cycle that keeps repeating itself. And basically they don't know how to get out of it because they're untaught. That means they haven't heard the Dhamma. So that's the first section, the ordinary person. Now, the second section is the trainee. Now, this refers to a person who has actually reached the level of Sotapanna, or has had a glimpse of the deathless state, or has a glimpse of the unconditioned, and the base where the mind is basically momentarily transcended duality, and he has understood the nature of illusion, and has seen through the illusion of the self and the I, how it's basically just a thought created in the mind that is not any kind of permanent entity. So this is a deep insight that a person who usually it comes through practicing, developing mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom, and usually it takes the level of concentration equal to the first jhana at least to combine with mindfulness to have that kind of experience. So this person is called the trainee. That means they have a glimpse of the unconditioned, but their mind is still caught in it. And they're training themselves now not to think in the ordinary way. They're training themselves not to unmindfully react in ways that keep creating more and more unwholesome karma and keep them locked into, just habitual reaction. So this person is called the trainee. It could be a monk, it could be a layperson. So the trainee yearns for the unexcelled relief from bondage. So they're practicing meditation in order to free their mind from, the conditioning, the negative conditioning that keeps them, breaking the precepts and keeping their mind in a state of confusion and, dominated by the ego, getting caught up in their moods and mental states. So this trainee, they also directly know earth as earth. So, they see something, okay, that's, they can recognize it as an object. Okay, that is a cat or a dog, or that's a man or a woman. But they're training their mind not to latch on to that object with desire or aversion, or to bring in the past and the future related to their object, and just see it as, just a visible object, or just seeing, unless it's necessary to do something. So, it's a training. That's why they're called a trainee. So directly knowing earth as earth, let that person not conceive in earth or any other object. That means they don't let their mind latch on and start thinking, oh, I have to have that object, or that's so beautiful, or that's so ugly, and bringing in all their, likes and dislikes based on that object, or even their own thoughts. Maybe they start to get angry at something, and they just train themselves to say, okay, this is just a state of anger, but not focusing on the object that caused them the anger, or the lust, or something else. And they use the techniques that the Buddha taught about analyzing the various objects as being 5 aggregates, and developing sense restraint, not allowing our mind to, get carried away in thoughts about these objects. So that's a trainee. That's what the person who's training in meditation. And the purpose of the training is not to create, more greed, hatred, and delusions. It's about learning how to weaken the power of, attachments, aversions, delusions, greed and hatred. And so that's done by restraining one's thoughts and actions, and by practicing the precepts. That's why the precepts are there, to remind us when we have that urge to want to, squash a cockroach, or, kill a fly or something. We can pause and this is unskillful, and you can reflect on it and see it as just a visible vibration, or this and that, and anyway, try to restrain any of the negative actions or thoughts, and maybe to substitute a thought of ill will, resentment, plotting revenge about somebody, to replace it with metta, thinking, may that person or object be well and happy, free from suffering. So there's many tools in the meditator's toolbox that we employ when the mind starts to get carried away, conceiving an earth or water, air, conceiving things as things, and then getting carried away. So that's the difference between a trainee and an ordinary person. Is a trainee tries not to allow their mind to do it, but it's going to do it, because even a Sotapanna is not that highly developed. They haven't overcome greed and delusion yet. They've only, overcome certain defilements, but they're still, haven't developed that high degree to prevent the mind. So the mind will get carried away in thoughts, but they'll have the mindfulness to check them before they've done a karmic action, like breaking a precept. They would have the mindfulness to at least to restrain themselves. So they might be thinking a few minutes, should I not? But finally their Dhamma comes in, no, I'm not going to tell that lie. I'm not going to steal that thing. I'm not going to, kill that animal or something like that. So again, that's a trainee. That's the job of the trainee, to retrain our negative habits. But we have to use the teachings of the Buddha to do that. That's why following the precepts are important, and then following these other, practicing insight meditation, developing concentration and mindfulness. All these things help the mind to be in a place where it can more easily restrain its negative thoughts and actions, replace them with wholesome ones. It allows us to practice the right effort of abandoning our unwholesome thoughts and ideas and urges and substituting them with more wholesome ones. So that is and so you're not allowing your perceptions to run amok. And this is especially like in Vipassana training, when we're practicing, insight meditation or Vipassana. The training is, if you hear a sound, rather than identifying that sound and start thinking about it, you note, just hearing. And so this is a specific meditation tool we use. It's just hearing. And then if you start to think about the sound, then you recognize, that's thinking. But you don't cling to the sound of the thinking and follow it. You cut it off with these kind of what is called bare attention. So any of the sense stimulations that are coming through our senses, the Vipassana and Vipassana meditation, mindfulness, this is a powerful training tool to restrain the perception from running amok, to latching on to the marks of beauty or the marks of ugliness, and then we get caught up in, like and dislike and so on. So it's a very deep level of mental psychology, actually. So anyway, but that training takes a long time. But so it's the trainee. That's why this person is called the trainee, is they're training themselves. Now the third part comes to the Arahant, which they also perceive earth as earth, but they do not conceive things in earth. So the trainee tries not to conceive things in earth, but they're going to fail a lot, and they're going to do that. But at least they have the backup to then not take karmic actions, create negative karmic actions based on those conceptions, on those particular objects. Now the Arahant, who has reached the highest level of, mental purification, they see, the Buddha still saw something. It's okay, yeah, that's a man and a woman, but they don't conceive in it. They don't allow their mind to, what a beautiful body they have, or what an ugly person that is, and the mind getting caught up in all of its likes and dislikes. It doesn't do that. Now the trainee might start to do that, but then they try to check themselves and not do it. But the Arahant won't do it because the mind has been more deeply purified. So this is where that connection takes place with the emptiness. So, in our ordinary mind, we're creating all these objects. Everywhere we look around, we're identifying all these various objects. And the mind is full of that. The mind is full of thoughts, worries, identifications with things. And then the trainee, they gradually try to reduce that. So the mind isn't so full of the past and the future. They learn how to live more in the present moment. But then the Arahant is fully established in that kind of state of what is basically explained in that Chula Sunyata Sutta, abiding in emptiness, that anytime the Arhat wants to, they can just pause and, all their insights, their mind goes into that state of pure awareness, almost instantaneously. But only an Arhat has that ability to do that. Meditators can do it to some extent for short periods of time, but only with that third stage, then the mind is more or less, you can still use dualistic thinking, but they're not clinging to it. And any time they want, they can just drop it and enter into that state of, emptiness, where the mind is not creating, individual objects and so on. So I know this is probably, difficult for a lot of you maybe to understand, but that's true. The Dhamma is difficult, but it's good even to intellectually know these stages helps. Because then when you get caught up in your mind, you can stop and say, wait a minute, these things are just created in the mind. It helps you. So the intellectual understanding of this can help you to then apply it, especially the trainee, when these things grip your mind in the daily life and you get consumed with, your emotions and get carried away with various emotions and thoughts and get caught up in stress. People get all stressed out, during the day because so many things to do, because they never stop to pause and to, bring their attention back, to take a few deep breaths, to let go of all that neurotic push into the future, and to come back and touch base with the present moment, even if it's just for 1 minute, is we do with practicing the eminent. So that's what this sutta goes through. It's making the distinction between an ordinary person who's totally locked into the conditioned mind and doesn't know any escape from it really, except for drugs and alcohol. But of course that creates its own difficult problems. And then there's the trainee, that now they've had a glimpse of what is the truth, and so now they're consciously trying to work on themselves. And then finally the culmination of that. Now the sutta itself goes on to mention the Tathagata, but that's a little bit more confusing to most people that don't really know too much about difference between an Arhat and a Tathagata and so on. But the Tathagata is, it's basically, they're also an Arhat, but they have completely overcome greed, hatred, and delusion. But I would say for the average person, this sutta, just understanding these three stages of reducing the ignorant grasping and clinging to the perceptions, and especially our likes and dislikes and that we have toward almost everything you ever experience in life. The mind is divided into these things I like and these things I don't like. Things you see, hear, smell, taste. We all have certain foods we like, some foods we don't like. We have sounds we like, we have sounds we don't like. We have smells we like, we have smells we don't like. And they cause us all kinds of struggle to get away from the things that we don't like, and seeking out to try to get what we want. And if we don't have the means to it, we might break precepts to steal, lie, cheat, or whatever to get what we want. And so that's the whole point in really the Buddha's teaching, is to see how the mind is caught in this. And so these suttas, this particular sutta is given, the pride of place being number 1 in the Majjhima Nikaya, as the root of all things, the root of all phenomena. And ultimately, it's that everything basically is created in our mind. And everything comes from the mind. That's why within the Buddhist practice, the mind is all important. So that's what I wanted to point out in this sutta. Now, if any of you have any questions based on what I just was mentioning or explaining, or from your reading, then you can go ahead and ask a question. Let me see if there's anything in our chat box. Is there anything in the chat box, Prashant?
Not yet, Bhante.
There's nothing in the chat box. If anybody out there listening now, if you have a question, you can you can just raise your hand and ask the question straight away, or you can use the golden hand signal down below.
But if in our daily life, when we don't have likes and dislikes, it will be difficult to buy things and things like that.
Well, that's actually an important and a good question. Because, everyone's going to have likes and dislikes. Even the Buddha, he would have preferred to go live in a quiet forest with the animals rather than living in a noisy monastery with arguing monks and stuff like that. And, we can have likes and dislikes, but not cling to them. So, we can have preferences. Okay, I like coffee with milk in it, but I'm not going to fight and punch somebody out if they drink the last milk and I won't be able to get milk for my coffee. See, okay, doesn't matter. Or anything else. So, the things of the world, it's the craving and clinging to things of the world that then cause us to break the precepts or to have other kind of negative thoughts that, bring their own kind of, problems and so on. So we can have likes and dislikes or preferences, let's say preferences, but not to cling to them. And you can change with the things that you like too, like my famous avocado story that I've told so many times before. I hated avocados when I was a young person, and I didn't know why, but just the thought, the sound of they produced, chills up my spine. But later when I heard the Dhamma, I said, I'm going to change my mind now. And I realized that like and dislike maybe came from the past, some kind of past conditioning. And I consciously worked on changing my mind about avocados, and now I like them. And that can be true to so many other things in our life. Even during the life, you outgrow things, like children, you outgrow playing with toys, and now you don't like to play with certain toys, or you might have liked certain music when you were younger, and now you grow older, more refined, maybe you don't like hard rock music that damages your ears, and so our likes and dislikes change just over the course of our life, but it's when our mind, we can see when our mind clings to these things, and then or it can't be happy without them. So you can be happy with something, and if the thing is not there, you do be equally be happy, you rest in the present moment, then you don't have a problem with it. But again, it's the attachment and ignorance which is the cause of suffering, not the objects in themselves. So that's what's important to understand. So don't think you have to give up all your likes and dislikes, but we use the Dhamma not to be so clinging to them, they're going to cause us suffering. And to understand about sickness, disease, and death, even if you have loved ones. Sure, people all, they love or like their relatives and their parents and their children. You have to have some attachment to them, but at a certain point, you know that can all change very quickly. And sickness and death can happen to anybody at any time as well as yourself. So if you can accept that, and then something happens in your life, at least hopefully you'll be able not to go into a deep depression. And people have committed suicide over, their house burning down. How am I going to live without my house? How am I going to live without the millions of dollars I just lost in the stock market? Or something else like that, right? We hear about that happening. So that's why the understanding and the meditation on impermanence and using these tools of using the Eightfold Path and all the tools the Buddha has taught us about how to, get down to the root of the mind and make the changes there in the unconscious mind to, to change those, especially those negative ways that we keep on repeating. Look at it, people are so addicted to so many things, there's so many addictions that people have in the world, and they ruin their life simply because they haven't been told or taught from the beginning about the nature of the mind and how to reach a place inside of yourself where you don't need all of these external kind of addictions and things. And that's what the wonderful thing about meditation. You can learn how to rest your mind, into the body and just feel the present moment, subtle vibrations that are coming in this, as described in the Lesser Discourse on Emptiness. And just rest in feeling these vibrations, but without allowing the mind to get carried away. So anyway, that, really the whole practice of Dhamma is focused around that. But it's very gradual, and every person is going to be different in what kind of progress they're going to be able to make, even in this lifetime itself. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Hemanta. Any other questions?
Thank you,
Bhante, is there any defining moment when trainee becomes arhat?
Please speak up a little bit louder. I can't hear you. We have a storm coming outside and it's making some noise out our window. Please repeat your question.
Is there any defining moment when a trainee becomes an arhat?
What is the defining moment when when you become an arhat?
Yes,
I wouldn't get too much focused on becoming an arhat right now. First, we have to develop the ability to remain mindful and centered, maybe, be able to attain the first or second jhana, or develop, when we want to, or at least to develop a stable state of mindfulness and learn how to just be more content with the present moment. And then those other states will gradually come. But worry about entering the stream first, or maybe you've already entered the stream, I don't know. But, gradually, those higher stages are not gained by just wishful thinking. You have to prepare the whole body and the mind for that. So, the practice is just always coming back to the four foundations of mindfulness, developing the factors of enlightenment, learning how to be more simple in one's life, and learning how to, live more in the present moment. That would be an obvious and attainable goal for, I think, most people, if they, but you have to know what is valuable in your life, what is important for you in the life, and you have to then work on creating the conditions which will allow the mind to, go go more naturally to that state.
Thank you, Bhante.
Any other questions? Okay, if there's no other questions, then let's take a few minutes break and then come back to do some stretches to get centered and grounded in the body in the present moment, hopefully, and then sit down for that descent into awareness. Okay? See you back in. Sorry about that. Now, out there in Zoom land, can you hear me?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay. So now we're going to coordinate the deep, slow breathing with these stretching movements. We do the movement while breathing in, holding the breath for 2 seconds, and then returning to the starting point on the out breath. And repeating each exercise 3 times. The whole time, just try to keep your attention in the body, feeling the different sensations being generated by the stretching and the breathing. Just letting go of your thoughts, just let your thoughts come and go in the back of your mind. Just keep all the sensations of the body, the concentration on the movements. So on the next in-breath, raise your hands over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten your arms, stretch the head back, stretch upwards, straight. Release the fingers, the out-breath, arms back to the sides. Focus on the sensations in the hands going down. And the next in-breath, again, hands over the head, interlock the fingers, palms up. Straighten the arms, bend back a little bit. Feel the sensation, arch the spine, release the fingers, out breath, hands back to the side. And once more, in breath. Third time, hold that upward stretch longer. Bend back a little more, feel the sensations. Release the fingers, out breath. Arms back to the sides. Gently close your eyes. Try to feel the outline of the standing body. If you can't feel that, just feel your feet pressing the floor. You feel the increased sensations in your hands and fingers, the increased pulsation. Feel the clothing touching the outer skin. Feel the head balanced on top. And just remind yourself of standing, present moment of the body. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. So remember standing, breathing, standing, breathing. Now on the next in-breath, lift up on the toes while raising the arms over the head. In this way, facing the hands toward each other and stretch up. Out breath, come back down, arms to the side, heels to the floor. Use the in-breath to help lift up the body. In, stretch, out. Once more, in, hold it a little longer. Out breath. And close the eyes, keep feeling the body. Don't give the mind time to get lost in thoughts of the past or future. Remember standing. Try to feel the outline of the body, the increased body sensation. Feel the clothing touching the outer skin, subtle pulsations under the skin. Any little aches or pains, prickly sensation. Present moment, body-centered awareness. Next we'll do the side bending using both arms on the in-breath. Raise both arms up and keep your fingers and arms straight, close to your head. The out-breath, bend over the right side. Feel the stretch of the side. In-breath, lift up. And the other side, out-breath. In-breath up. Let's keep alternating sides like that with the breathing. And keep the arms and hands parallel to each other like railroad track. In-breath, lift up. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In-breath. And on the out-breath, lower both arms. Let's close the eyes. Feel the outline of the body. Feel the increased body sensation due to the deep breathing, the oxygenation of the blood flooding the body. Lots of oxygen, charge up all the cells of the body. That's what actually you feel those body sensations, basically this cellular vibration, interacting with each other, keeping this body alive. So you feel that, letting go of the thought. Remember standing. Mind gets carried away in thoughts, recognize it as thinking, bring it back to the body. And now spread your legs and feet apart about 3 feet, wider the better. And pull the hands out at the sides and do the lateral twisting of the spine. So breathe in. On the out breath, twist to the right. Keep your eyes focused on the hand going back. And breath back to the front. And let your feet turn with the body and twist to the other side, to the out breath. And breath to the right. Keep alternating sides like that with the breathing. Once more to each side. Come back to the front. Lower the arms. Close the eyes. Feel each foot pressing the floor. Feel the sensation of the legs spread apart. Feel the clothing touching the skin. Feel the pulsation in the hands and fingers. Feel the head balanced on top, the eyes in the socket. Gradually, as you develop mindfulness and concentration, you'll feel all those different sensations pretty much about the same time. So you're looking in a mirror and feel that vague outline at the bottom. Letting go of your thought. You now place the hands together at the chest. And breathe in, hands over the head. On the out breath, lower the hands to the chest and bend the knees, lower down, try to keep the back upright. Feel the stretch in the hips and knees. On the in breath, feel the muscles in the legs pushing the body back up, hands over the head. And out breath. In. Out. In. The out breath, arms back to the side. Close the eyes, feel the outline of the body, feel the clothing touching the outer skin, the life force vibrations under the skin, prickly sensations. itchy sensations, aches and pains, so many different sensations always happening in or around the body. The more sensations you can notice, the less time for your mind to get carried away by other thoughts. It's the present moment, body-centered present moment awareness. Starting point for any deeper awareness, meditation. Now bring your legs and feet back closer together. Still standing straight. We'll do head turning from right to left. On an in-breath, turn your head to the right as far as you comfortably can. And look over your right shoulder. Feel the twist in the neck. On the out-breath, turn 180 degrees back to the left. And look over the left shoulder. You have a stiff neck, just be careful. In-breath back to the right. Concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Imagine feeling them loosening up. Out breath left. Once more to each side. On the in-breath, let the head stop in the center, close the eyes, feel the outline of the body, like we're looking into a full-length mirror, feel the sensation from the feet to the head. Remember standing, standing, standing. So repeating the word standing helps to bring that perception or outline of the body into clear focus. It's also a perception. Now another head and neck exercise. On the in-breath, lift the chin up. So you're kind of looking up towards the ceiling on the in-breath. And on the out-breath, stretch the head further back to look up at the ceiling directly over your head. The in-breath, lift the head up. And jut the chin out a little bit, and on the out-breath, press the chin to the little notch at the top of the chest. Feel the stretch of the neck vertebrae where the neck joins the top of the spinal cord. In-breath, lift the chin up. Out-breath, stretch the head back. In-breath, lift the head up, jut the chin out, out-breath, press the chin to the chest. Once more, in-breath. Out-breath. In. Press the chest, out breath. On the in breath, lift the chin up level with the floor, relax. Keep the eyes closed, feel the outline of the body. Close, touching the outer skin. Subtler life force pulsations, vibrations under the skin. Any thoughts are going through your mind, it's just thinking. Without getting carried away in the thought. Now we're going to do just one last exercise, a backward and forward bending exercise. It's very powerful, so you have to be a little bit careful with it. So you turn your palms outward in front, and touch the edges of your hands together so the little fingers kind of touch each other. And then on an in-breath, raise your hands up about level to your eyes. Then begin opening the arms out to the sides as you bend back on the out breath. Bend back, look up at the ceiling, keep the eyes open, feel the arch of the spine. And carefully lift up on an in-breath. Be aware of any body shaking, keep the arms out at the sides. And the out-breath, lower the arms and hands down towards the floor. See if you can touch your toes. And keep the legs straight, let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. And begin lifting up. Turn the palms outward again. In breath, raise the hands up. Spread the arms apart as you bend back on the out breath. Be careful. In breath, lift up. Again, out breath, a downward stretch. Lifting up, turn the palms outward, in breath, raise the hands up, out breath, spread the arms apart, bend back, careful. In breath, lift up. Out breath. This time try to hold that downward stretch a little longer. And keep your legs straight, let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. And the spinal column joins the pelvic girdle, the sacrum bones. Feel the sensation. Now begin lifting up. On an in-breath, bring your hands together at the chest. On the out-breath, hands back to the sides. Close your eyes. Keep feeling the outline of the body. Feel the head on top, arms at the sides. Clothing touching the skin, feet pressing the floor. Try to feel that awakened life force vibration. Just try to imagine or feel that you're standing on a vibrating machine, Feeling all those vibrations from the soles of the feet up to the top of the head. Looking into a full-length mirror, just sort of watching the body standing, breathing, sensations coming and going. Okay, so now let's come back to our seats and get ready for the sitting awareness. So just get comfortable in the sitting posture. Just try to sit straight, align your spine and the back of your head in a straight line. Just close your eyes. Just feel your head balanced on top of the neck. Just try to feel the outline of the sitting body, the sense of the head on top. The arms hanging at the sides, clothing touching the shoulders and arms and chest. Feel the hands touching together. Feel the hips and the buttocks pressing the seat. Feel the way the knees are bent and the feet tucked underneath. Try to feel that outline of the sitting body in the mind's eye. And just remember sitting, sitting, sitting. Now begin some deep, slow breathing again, as we did in the yoga session. Take 2 to 3 seconds to expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest, holding the air in for 2 seconds, and feeling the last bit of air go out of the lungs on the out breath. Just take a few more deep, slow breaths like that, cultivating this mindfulness of breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Now we're going to try counting our breaths from 1 to 10 to develop a more continuous concentration on the breathing. I'll do the counting for you. Just try to follow that with your breathing and concentration. So with the next expanding in breath, mentally count to 1. Hold the breath for 1 second. With the contracting out breath, also count to 1, feeling the last bit of air go out. The next in breath, 2. Out breath, 2. In, 3. Out, 3. In, 4. Out, 4. In 5, out 5, in 6, out 6, in 7, out 7, in 8, out 8, in 9, out 9, in 10, out 10. Now discontinue the counting. Let your breathing return to its uncontrolled, shorter, irregular rhythm. But continue to feel it, to observe it. Keep your attention focused on the center of the body to feel the residual expanding and contracting sensation. Try to feel where the clothing rubs against the skin of your stomach, rib cage, your chest, as it expands and contracts, producing sensation. Just make that the primary focus of your concentrated awareness. Just knowing when the breath is coming in, and knowing when the breath is going out. You know it by feeling it, feeling the raw sensation. Try to feel like being a scientist looking down through a microscope, observing an experiment. This experiment of breathing, keeping this body alive. Try to tune in to the 4 phases of each breath cycle, the expanding in-breath and the brief pause, the contracting out breath and the brief pause, just over and over and over again. To help stay focused out of your other thoughts, you can use these mental reminders of the present moment. In sitting, out, sitting, in sitting, out, sitting. It's the ongoing connection to the present moment of this breathing body. This breathing body is the mind's natural connection to present moment awareness. Especially on the out breath, try to follow the out breath all the way down to the end. Feel the last bit of air go out. Brief pause and the next in breath. In sitting, out, sitting, breath by breath, moment by moment, allowing the awareness to settle more and more into the present moment. Feeling the subtle vibrations of the breathing body. Just letting your thoughts come and go in the back of the mind. Keeping the sensations of the breathing body in the front of the awareness. And be alert for thoughts sneaking up into the mind to steal your attention away. Get carried away in thoughts, recognize it as thinking, or lost. Take a deep, slow breath, bring the mind back into the body. Back to in sitting, out, sitting. You still have too many thoughts, come back and do some more deep, slow breathing. Help stay more awake, centered in the body. Keep turning up the power of the mental microscope to notice more and subtler details, sensations in the breathing body. Paying particular attention to how quickly certain sensations arise and vanish very quickly. Just understanding that all those sensations you're noticing are just basically the billions of cells of the body interacting, keeping this body alive, producing all these sensations. And vibration. So being alert for subtler thoughts moving through the back of the mind. There's always two things going on in our experiences. One is the physical vibrations coming through the senses. The other is the stream of mental memories, images, thoughts, moving through the unconscious, waiting to come up, carry us away through the past and future. The more purely physical sensations you can notice, the subtle sensation, the less chance for the mind to get carried away in the thought. That's the skill in meditation. That's the descent into emptiness. We're just feeling the subtle vibration. From time to time, come back and take several deep, slow breaths. Help recenter, ground the attention, the breathing body in the present moment. Or wake up if the mind is feeling drowsy. Checking the posture to keep the posture straight. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. So many different sensations coming and going. Pleasure or pain come and go. Sound vibrations come and go. Perceptions, thoughts, ideas come and go. Thoughts of I, me, and mine come and go. These are just the constant state of the body and mind coming and going. The five aggregates, the rising and vanishing through the space of present moment awareness. Just empty vibrations, even thoughts, ideas, or just mental vibrations coming and going through the emptiness of present moment awareness. The mind is calm enough, with enough awareness. Try to feel like being an empty house with nobody home to answer the call, knocking on the doors and windows. But there's a sensitive microphone in the house that knows but doesn't know. The natural present moment body-centered awareness. The descent into emptiness. And now let us spend the last few minutes of this meditation by shifting our attention to cultivating thoughts of friendliness, kindness, best wishes towards our own body and mind, radiating that out outwards to others. So again, begin taking some deep, slow breaths, just watching the body, your body sitting and breathing. After the in-breath, hold the air in the lungs for as long as you comfortably can to feel or imagine that oxygenated blood permeating the whole body, charging up the cells with healing energy. On the out-breath, feel the mind and body relaxing more into the present moment. Just imagine that deep breathing and holding the air in, so all the oxygen to get out, to charge up the cells, is like sending metta to your own body and mind. Just with the thought, may I be well, peaceful and wise, free from excessive attachment and greed, anger, hatred, fear, pride and ignorance. May I be free from the pains and sufferings of body and mind brought about by such unskillful thought, speech and action. May I have the patience, strength, mindfulness and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May I continue to be able to deepen my understanding of the Dhamma in the practice of meditation, to help free the mind from confusion and suffering. May I be well, peaceful and wise. Sending these same thoughts outward to your other family members and friends, thinking, my various family members, good friends, teachers that I've had in different places, from childhood to the present, people I've known in school or work, neighborhoods where I've lived from the past to the present. Just thinking, may all of them be well, happy and peaceful, free from from greed, hatred, fear and ignorance, and free from the self-created sufferings of body and mind from such unskillful thought, speech and action. May they also have the patience, strength, mindfulness and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. If they haven't already, may they also have the opportunity to hear the teachings of the Dhamma, to learn and practice meditation, to help free their minds from confusion and suffering. May they be well, peaceful and wise. Now if you can kind of feel your heart beating, or with each out breath, just imagine these waves of metta thoughts of pure energy, pure love, pure wisdom going outward in all directions, across the fields and valleys, through the towns and cities, and eventually across the state, the whole country. With each out-breath, like these waves of metta going further and further outward, entering into the bodies and minds of all beings. Just with the idea that, may all living beings, wherever they might be, living near or far away, visible or invisible, weak or the strong, rich or the poor, famous or the obscure. May all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful, free from greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance, free from the self-created pains and sufferings of body and mind due to such unskillful thought, speech, and action. May they also have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. They haven't already, may they also have the opportunity to hear the teachings of the Dhamma, to learn and practice meditation, to help free their minds from confusion and suffering. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. Just like a mantra reverberating throughout space. Well, peaceful, and wise. And I invite you to join and finish this meditation and chanting the word sadhu. Do that chanting sadhu on a long out breath. Feel those vibrations in the body and mind. So if you like, you can place the hands together at the chest. Take a deep breath. Sadhu. Breathe. Breathe. Now mindfully place your hands at the edge of your knees. Take one more deep breath as you breathe in, stretch your head back, pull the hands on the knees, you arch your spine, look up at the ceiling. Lift the head up on an in-breath, and on the out-breath, press the chin to the top of the chest. Stretch the neck vertebrae. Lift the head up level on an in-breath. And relax on the out-breath. Put a smile on your face. Okay, friends. So I hope you all have a meditation. I can't get this light to come back on. Okay.
Good night. Thank you, Bhante.
So,
Thank you, Bhante.
so we meet again next week. Be well, be safe, be mindful, be wise. Practice your M&Ms. Stop every hour during the day. Take a deep, slow breath. Bring your attention back to the body. Touch base with the present moment of the body. Whenever you find yourself getting upset with somebody, send out metta. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
Mindfulness today keeps dukkha away. And Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Deepa.
Welcome.
They were sharing genes. If you imagine that this